So not so long ago, a study was conducted to try and determine and to try and understand the reason why so many men don't try yoga, even though it's been recommended by a medical practitioner. The results may not surprise many women who know how ridiculous us men are, but the main reason for not attempting or even trying yoga is that men feel silly, men feel stupid walking into a room full of scantily clad half-naked women. Firstly, to all the men, I assure you that's not what goes down in a yoga studio, especially not ours. Scantily clad isn't something I would associate with what the women wear at our studio. The second biggest reason for not trying yoga was simply that men feel too inflexible to even try, which is strange really, because it would be like you saying that you're not strong enough to lift weights. Surely you will get stronger. But you know what, I understand, being a fellow ridiculous man, I know how difficult it can be and how much courage it takes to try yoga for the first time. For that reason, I've selected 5 yoga poses that men watching this video can do from the comfort of their own home, which will hopefully promote mobility, flexibility, will get you feeling better so you don't look so stupid and feel so stupid when you come to a yoga class. These 5 yoga poses that I've selected is based on my years of experience with my own body, and also with teaching men of various shapes and sizes over the years. This is not to say that every man watching this video needs to do yoga, some don't, but in my experience, most men, especially those in the building trade, need to be stretching regularly to try and take some of the stress that accumulates around their hips and spine. All you need is to find some space. You don't even need a yoga mat, just do it on your carpet. Spend a few minutes every few days trying these stretches. You don't need to do them every day, but what is required is commitment over a long period of time. If you continue to do these stretches over the course of a few years, you will see the benefits, and I cannot begin to explain how much difference it will make to your physical body. The first stretch is the famous hip stretch. Now, there is a muscle that attaches to your upper thigh bone that also attaches to these kind of things that protrude off your spine. Now, when this muscle is tight, it starts to compress your spine, which can create unnecessary discomfort into your lower back. So the idea behind this stretch even, is to try and take some of the stress off that particular muscle, relieving the stress off the spine. I begin with a 90-degree angle at both sides. Take your hand on your hip and try to tilt your hip backwards. Squeeze the backside. Push the hip forward and then raise the right arm up. Now, for most of you, that may be enough. This is faulty. I'm not stretching anything here. So again, I have to tip my hip backwards, squeeze the backside, and use my right hip to travel forward just there. That's stretching into my hip. Reach up high. And now I'm going to drop the left hand down to the side and look up, and then ease off. So looking at that from the other angle, squeeze the backside, tip it forward, raise the arm up. Now I'm going to drop the left hand down. As I drop the left hand, I'm gazing up and reaching high. Feel it in your hip and ease off. Now, how long you should hold these stretches for is a long, ongoing examination and study. It really depends on you and how you feel. This particular stretch I would hold for around 8 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds, and I would do that 3 or 4 times on each side before I move on to the next stretch. The second stretch is downward facing dog. Now, most people who do downward facing dog do it to stretch the muscles of the back of our legs, but for us men, we're going to try and focus more on the lats, and that is the big muscles in our back. Now, again, in my experience, most men find it difficult to get 180 degrees at their arms. So if I ask them to raise their arm overhead, this is where they stop. That is primarily the lats restricting you. You want to go to 180 degrees without arching your back. So hands are nice and wide, fingertips are all stretched away, and all you're going to do is bend the knees and hold this position. Allow the head to relax. Drop onto your knees, take a big breath in through the nose. When you breathe out, go again. If you straighten your legs, most guys end up doing this, which is what we don't want. Bend your knees, push the hips back. Imagine your hand is being pulled in one direction and your hip is going in the other. And ease off. So again, you can hold that for around 10 seconds. I would do that 4 or 5 times. So in total, you do around 50 to 60 seconds of that stretch. No sequence of yoga poses, regardless of who it's for, should be done without the cat-cow. Wrists in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. I'm going to round the back, tucking in the chin, and then arch as if I'm looking up. So I no longer have the natural arch in my lower back. And now I round everything and then arch. I take a big breath in as I round and a big breath out as I arch. Now, one inhale, exhale is 1 round, and you really only need to do a maximum of 6 rounds. You don't need to do that for 60 seconds, or you don't have to do 20 rounds. So the research shows 6 rounds is enough, and then move on to the next stretch. Number 4 is a variation of the revolved triangle, and I cannot again begin to explain how beneficial this particular stretch is once you master the fundamentals, which is what we're doing. So I'm going to take this wide lunge position, left foot forward, right hand down, and I'm just going to try and create a straight spine, and then I'm going to use my ribs just to twist over to the left and reach up, and then lower back down. I'm going to work on my mobility by lifting up and then just switching to the other side. Right foot forward, left knee back. Left hand down, I'm going to press the left hand into the ground and use my ribs to twist and then reach up. You don't have to reach all the way. You can keep your right hand on your hip if you need to, and then just ease off. And again, switch sides. So you want to hold each side for around 4 or 5 seconds, and then you want to do 5 on each side, 10 in total. The final pose or movement or exercise is for your lower back, and this is the Sphinx pose. I'm just gonna lie down on my stomach with my hands out in front of me, creating the classic Sphinx position. Now, if this creates any discomfort into your lower back, it means you have a pelvis similar to mine. So that means you have to lift the hips, squeeze the backside, and then lower down. There, that's much better. Now, you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm reaching up with my head, and I'm imagining my hips are being pulled away from me. So it's as if my spine is traveling in 2 different directions. My head is going up, my hip or the base of my spine is traveling backwards. If you are here, not the end of the world. If you are there, it's not the end of the world, because you're building up towards this. You should feel your back working, but it should never feel like you need to come out of the exercise. If you feel that way, you're being too aggressive. It should feel like you can hold that position for around 3 minutes. I mean, you're not going to. You're going to hold a maximum of 60 seconds. You can do that twice, but that's how it should feel. It should feel passive. It should not feel aggressive whatsoever. That is it. So those are the top 5 poses in my experience most of the men I have trained over the years will benefit from. Those are the fundamentals, those are the basics. Master those. So when I say master those, mean just get them feeling comfortable, or get yourself feeling comfortable with those poses, and you will be surprised at what difference just these 5 poses makes to the physical quality of your life. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel if you are new, and I will see you around.